So it is according to the scriptures, Indian scriptures, of course. It's the original scripture. Okay. Now, in those days, long ago, long ago, right? Ancient times. The human psyche was very pure. It was not cluttered by the modern amenities, right? And also modern sufferings. So it was becoming conscious in a way. And when the psyche was becoming conscious, the psyche is our psyche is connected to the universal psyche. And when it was becoming conscious, little by little, it was becoming conscious. They saw a great light, the sages, what you call great light. And their mind was in tune, the divine music, the music of the quarters. And everything was so beautiful and nice. And all the trees, you see outside when there is a wind is blowing, right? See the leaves, how they are like silver, they are fluttering. So beautiful it is. So they are in tune with nature and tune with the creator of the nature. And in those days, what people used to ask questions. These are aspirants, these are the questions, they ask 6 questions they ask. And the great sage, Vipralada, who was considered to be one of the foremost sages of the time, answered the questions. And it is the questions, the answer are psychological, spiritual, mystical, and practical also. In those days, according to those days. Now, whether we have progressed from that time or we have regressed from that time, the question is that whether we have progressed or regressed, you see. So, if you hear these answers to these questions, we feel something, it will touch our souls, touch our psyche, it will lift up our spirit to the heights of the divine grandeur, the divine glory, immensity of it. It will say. Oh, now here what happens is, now the first question, I will read the first question. Now what your answer, why I give you this paper, you have to try to answer these questions according to your own capacity, understanding, and according to your expansive consciousness and psyche that is not cramped, but the part of it which is not cramped, but free. Okay. Answer this question. Only you must be touching with yourself. That's the only thing you must be touch with yourself. You must be in touch with yourself, right? That's the only thing. And what is this self? This question, the answers come in this. The first question, Lord, see, there were these 6 aspirants, they were practicing some kind of penance in those days, olden days, And somebody asked me, how old is ancient? How old is ancient? Ancient is fully present in the present. Fully present in the present. Okay. And the present dwindles in the ancient. Now, say this first question. Lord, he goes to this great sage, and what happens, they wanted to ask these questions. They are aspirants. They wanted to know the truth. They wanted to know everything about our... See, we, in the modern age, we will say, what is the purpose of my life here? Why am I on this earth? We ask these questions, right? A lot of people ask these questions. So they didn't ask like that. Well, what is the purpose of my being on this earth? No. They wanted to know the truth, the highest truth that will redeem you and free you from all the shackles of the modern world, of the world, created world, all the shackles. It may be golden shackles, but still it is a shackle. See? So these 6 aspirants, they came to know this great sage is there somewhere in the forest, teaching people. So one day, one fine morning, when the sun was rising in the east, when the colors were bright and beautiful, when the dew was shimmering on the leaf, on grass, green grass, they go to him and prostrate. Prostration is one of the highest orders of spirituality. and humility, and humbleness. Okay. So they go to him and prostrate and said, "O Lord," because in olden days they always used to address "O Lord." Even if I go to Bill, I say, "O Lord Bill," I will say, because Bill will not rhyme with the Lord, But say, Bill. Yeah. So, how art thou? Tattvamasi. See, how art thou? See, that's a beautiful way of telling. And the Sanskrit language is such, it is so humble a language, so beautiful a language. It's all rhymes, it's all poetry, nothing else. So these 6 aspirants, students, who were seeking after truth, they wanted to know the truth. They go and prostrate before this sage. He said, "Sire, we want to ask some very important questions we do not know." And he says, "Okay, I know, you don't know. I know you don't know. But I will tell you one thing. Go for 1 year, practice penance, austerity, and practice truth, and then come back to me. Then if I can, I will answer the questions. If I can." You see, he's very, very good. That sage is very good. So if I can, so I'll answer your questions. He didn't say that. He was not arrogant, and he was not egotistic, even though he possessed great knowledge of everything. But he said, "If I can, I will answer your questions." So 1 year they go in the forest again, practice austerity, continence, contentment, peace, and then they come after 1 year, they come to him again. Then they ask this question. The first one asked this question: "Lord, whence are all these creatures born?" Answer the question. "O Lord, answer this question." You write down yourself, why I given the answer for question, because you can answer it in your own way. Right. Now, I'm going to read from this because this is nicely written, and this is a book of Upanishad written by
Juan Marisco.
Juan Marisco was a great writer. He, of course, most of the time he spent in England, and he studied Sanskrit, went to India, studied Sanskrit, and he translated most of the Upanishads. He was a great man. You know what Rabindranath Tagore says about him? Rabindranath Tagore, the great poet, the Nobel laureate, who asked him, "Your translation has caught from those great words the inner voice that goes beyond the boundaries of words." Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. Beyond the boundary of words. So this is, all these things I am trying to explain to you is beyond the boundary of words. Okay. And in the Bible, it is said that in the beginning there was the Word was with God, and the God was the Word. That Word, but the Word was the God. See, what is the meaning of all those things? If you utter a truth, you say the word of God. That's what it is. Because God can never say anything else other than truth. So, whatever that God is, your concept is, I'm not trying to pin you down to a particular God or anything. No, whatever your concept is, whatever your faith is, it is faith. And don't fake it, have faith. Okay. So, if that faith is implicit, and your self-confidence and self-esteem and true values of life, you get the answer. True values of life, not false values. True values of life. So I always like that, that when I go to Walmart, I generally go to Walmart. True value, I buy those products, okay? They're really value. They're cheap, but value. So, this, now, what answer you give to this? Of course, he has given a long answer, but I'll make it short. I'll not read the whole thing, but I will interpret it in my own way, going through it. Don't think this is the language I use. Okay. So, okay. So he says. Now what happens is, in the beginning, I don't know how they get this. It is scientifically true also. See, the God or whatever you call, or our self, great self, the old self, or the absolute, what the Christian call the absolute, I mean the Godhead. So Godhead is always in feminine gender. Okay, the absolute is in feminine gender. Okay, because that creates is a feminine gender. And this great God, the mighty Lord of earth, desired one day, he desired one morning, nothing is there. Huh? It's all empty. Shunyata, it is all empty. So I must have something for me, to enjoy and to see and to play. So he desired a creation, desired to create progeny, okay, children. So what should do? He cannot by himself create. See, a single hand doesn't make any sound. In Buddhist literature, it makes go like this, it makes sound. But it doesn't make sound. Practically, it doesn't make sound. So there must be someone else to create. There must be two, right? So he went into contemplation, meditation, and the heat of the tremendous heat of that concentration meditation, tremendous heat it produced. God, the absolute, produced terrible heat, immense heat, and that heat gave birth to twin. Okay, and one is called Prana or life force. Rai, another is called Rai, that is nature. Okay, it produced two, Prana and Rai. Okay, nature. So from that the creation starts, from those two combinations, the creation starts. It is all, in a way, we are mind born. In the beginning, we are mind born. And we became mindless, and then we are born in the human.
Then we got stupid.
And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter, you see. Okay. So he explains now, it is a matter. Huh? The sun is life. Now the sun, that's the sun. Huh? And Rai is the moon. Okay, so the creator longed for the joy of creation. He remained in meditation, and then came Rai, that produced heat. Of course, he didn't say that, but it produced tremendous heat. In the Sanskrit word is like that. Tremendous heat it produced. And then came Rai, matter, and Prana, life. These two thought he will produce beings for me, So Rai and Prana, life and with shadow, Rai is shadow. And in the practical sense, Prana is sun, our sun. It's symbolic, this sun. And Rai is moon. Okay. So Rai is matter, the moon is matter, and the sun is life. And scientifically, sun is the sustainer of life. Sun gives sustains life, So it provides everything. Without sun, nothing will be produced on this earth. So he gave that, created that, those two things, two twins. And those twins were all descended from that twin. Okay. We may have the DNA problems and all those things we have, but that is different. That comes later on. But first, what happens first in the beginning? That's what happens. Okay. Now, how they could see all those things, because they are in tune with I said, the Creator himself, the sages. See, they didn't reach that by stages. They were sages. At once, everything was there. Okay. So the sun is life and the moon is matter. All that has formed, solid or subtle, is matter. All that form, it just got form, it's matter. Therefore, form is matter. Okay. See, we have got a form. You see, we have got this physical body, it's a form. But it matters, right? Still it matters as a matter of fact. It matters, it matters. And which you have to mind it all the time. If you don't mind it, it doesn't matter, but you have to mind it because it matters. So, okay, that's it. When the rising morning sun enters the eastern skies, see, the sun enters the eastern, we think the sun rises in the east, but actually enters the eastern sky. Right? See, when you observe, you have to observe it. These are great observers, you must know that. This is very scientific, I tell you, these all things are very scientific. But the science only does experiments with whatever has been created. They can't create anything, but they make experiments in the laboratory, controlled manner, and produce some results. But this was not beyond everything. The result itself was there, present. And they knew the result itself. Not they didn't go by step, you know. So see, there is one saying, that great Lord, he is absolute, enormous, you know. But he is the smallest of the small, greatest of the great. That's called Brahma. Always expanding, you know. So this world is expanding also. It goes on expanding. There is no limit where it will stop expanding. I think when it stops expanding, it will totter and fall. It has to go on expanding. So the eternal becomes eternal and eternal goes on. The infinite becomes infinite. And the finite, what is the created one, is also in the infinite, infinitely present in the infinite. The finite is infinitely present in the infinite. And infinite is infinitely present in the finite. See how beautiful it is, huh? Okay, good. Thank you. When the rising morning sun enters the eastern skies, then he bathes in his light, all light that is in the east. Bathes it, all light, right? It is light, the eastern. And then the south and the west and the north, and all the sky are illumined by that light that gives life to all that lives. Okay, that lives. And here what happens, you know, actually Sanskrit is something different than this translation. I mean, he made a kind of intellectual translation, you know, to the Western audience most probably. What it says is, when the sun rises, he draws the breath of the east and absorbs it in his rays. Breath he absorbs. Then to the west and north and all those things, he absorbs all the breath, right, in the rays. And the rays becomes our breath. Yeah. Okay. To all that lives. Thus rises the sun as fire. Sun is fire. You know, it's symbolic. Not this fire that's fire we lit on the, consecration. That's why also we create conditions in life. And we identify the conditions and call it life. But it's not. See? Yeah. You create all the conditions. Somebody gets married and problem comes and they get divorced and these conditions we create. Why the human mind is not free from conditions? Why need conditions? Have joy and happiness. And there is eternally spread everything in this world which can enjoy. Which can enjoy all the time, you can enjoy it. You see a flower, it is going to fall. But the essence of the flower is something different. So the essence of the flower and the essence of creation is your own essence. It is not something different. Therefore, you're essentially divine, you must know that. Essentially divine. Not potentially, essentially. If you don't have even that potential divinity, then you become impotent. It's called the spiritual impotency. Thus rises the sun as fire, as life in its infinite variety. It was said in a verse of that Rigveda, he said in the another these things happen in time immemorial. We don't know what the time is. It's beyond time, beyond what you call time. Time is a fixation of our mind, time and space. But these things happen beyond the mind. When you go beyond your mind, you don't become mindless, but your mind becomes a universal mind, right? That's the fear. If I lose my mind, what will happen? That's the fear we have. You become mindless, mad. No, you go beyond it. That's the quantum jump. You take a quantum leap. See, there are smallest, what is science says, what is the smallest they found? Quanta, right? Quanta is the smallest, whatever they found. Then they found all the elements. Now they say, even love is an element. It's an element. Right? They have given different names to it. So instead of 90, 98, 92, then you went to 98, then now went to 108. That's exactly scripture say 108. You see, the beats 108, okay? Everything 108. 108. 508, it comes later on, okay? So, okay. The sun is rising in golden radiance. Okay. The sun of 1,000 rays in 100 regions abiding. 1,000, they say in scriptures about million rays, and this Marcus taught that if I say millions, people will not believe, so let me say thousands. Okay, yeah. The sun is rising in golden radiance. The sun of 1,000 rays in 100 regions abiding. Hundreds of regions abides. The God omniscient, aim of all prayers, the light and fire supreme, the infinite life of all beings. See, the life they never say is finite. Life is infinite. It's infinite. Okay. And we think we are finite. What makes us that to feel that you are finite? What makes us to feel that we are finite? Why we cramp ourselves? Why we narrow ourselves, restrict ourselves, make like finite? So one fine morning when you see, merge with nature, then you never feel that you are finite. You say, how infinite I am, like the flower, like the beauty of this nature, how infinite I am. See? So that must be the spirit. You must be in the spirit. Yeah. Yeah. The light supreme, the infinite life of all. The Lord of creation is in truth the time of the year. See? The year is also Lord of creation. The year it creates, right? Year after year, it goes grow. What is this life? We think that it is birth, growth, decay, and death, right? That's what the process of life is in this world, right? Now, see, according to scriptures, what it is? It is birth, growth, growth, and birth. That's very strange, right? Yeah. And you don't die. Yeah. Yeah. So, now, it says two paths. This year has two paths. Okay. What is the path of the year? The year got two solstices, right? The southern and the northern path. And you got two solstices, right? Right. Two. What is two solstices? One is the path of south, one is the path of north, right? That's the solstice. Yeah. 21st of June and 21st of, 21st, 22nd, December. See, that's the southern path. See, and this is the northern path. Okay. Now, see here, we have, so two paths, the way of the south and the way of the north. Okay. Those who worship thinking, think sometimes. We have done sacrifices and pious works attain only the regions of the moon and return to the life and death. They go to the moon. When you think, I don't know, religious things and everything, and see, you think like this. Think. Okay. Thinking. Okay. Attain only the region of the moon and return to life and death. That's why those sages who desire children and the life of the family follow the path of the south. This is the path that leads to the ancestors. I think in the American Indians, they got ancestors, right? They go to ancestors, right? They invoke the ancestors from the earth, not from above. They come from the earth. Because earth is everything, you must know that. Yeah. Okay. Now you see, everything you get from earth, all the wealth, gold, silver, copper, all the elements, 92, whatever they are, you get from earth. Even petroleum to run your car, to fly your aeroplane, they come from earth. Otherwise, there won't be any aeroplane. There won't be any cars. See? But you can still have a bicycle. But you don't like the paddling all the time, Right? See? So these two paths, That is why those sages, so they lead to the ancestors. They go to the ancestors. But those who, in search of the inner spirit, follow the spiritual path of the north with steadiness. See, when I was constructing this temple, you saw the shrine there. Vishasa, the shrine. See what happened? Richard was, it was there, this side, it was facing the parking lot here. So the goddess was seeing only the cars parked. So I thought of constructing it. Then Richard only brought all the poles to put, and he was digging. I was cooking. I thought, let him give him some food. He was digging in there. He was alone. He was digging there, to have on that side. Some voice tells me, I tell you this, the truth. Some voice tells me, I don't want to face the parking lot. I want to face east, southeast, east, that way. And then I ran out and told Richard, don't dig there, you dig here. So then it came like, see, it faces this way, northeast.
So that was exactly the solstice where the sun was coming up.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Lined up.
You didn't know it, but I'm telling you.
You knew it and she knew it.
It was the right time because I finished.
Yeah, you were about to put one pole. Dig here, that's how that whole thing came out, like that. These mysterious things, this is called the mystical experiences. The mystical experience you get. When you are in tune with yourself, you get the mystical experiences. Okay. Yeah. But those who in search of the inner spirit follow the spiritual path of the north with steadiness, clarity, purity, faith, and wisdom attain the region of the sun. And there is the ocean of life, the refuge supreme, the land of immortality, where there is no fear. From there they do not return again. It is the end of the journey. There is a word that, end of the journey means what? End of the journey in this world, in the relative world, end of the journey. But your journey always continues. As long as there is absolute, your journey is there. The cycle goes on. You come and go, you come and go. Where you go, where you come. You don't come, you don't go. But it is the journey on. It is a continuous journey in the orbit of the sun. And in the golden rays of the Almighty Lord, who always touches your head, pats your head. Sometimes you feel that, some touch, suddenly feel a touch sometimes. You must know that. And sometimes when you are up in the morning, it slaps on you.
Wait.
This is not demagoguery stuff. I'm telling you, this is what happens. And this is the experience of the sages. Because God plays with you. Because you are His children, you must know that. He plays with you. Okay. Yeah. Great mighty God plays with you. And when such a mighty Lord plays with you, how great must be your position in the world. How uplifting is the very thought itself to God. See, how uplifting the thought will be. So your spirit will rise and rise. It will never have depression. It will never have fear, never have wants. And God gives all needs, fulfills all needs. If you ask him a Mercedes Benz, he will not give you. But the need, that you don't need it. I used to tell this story. I was living in Santa Fe, some 80s, 58. And I got two neighbors. One Montoya, and here is a white man, white and Spanish. Okay. And one day this Anglo, brought a Mercedes. and both they were driving Honda or Toyota or something, they had. And I was in the middle. Okay. And he, on his driveway, when this Montoya saw on his driveway this Mercedes car, he became very jealous. He got a Mercedes and I drive it, or whatever, Honda, whatever. And he was burning inside, his jealousy. And he started suffering a lot. He had some problems. He came to me for some help. I said, why you are suffering? What happened to you? I know, there is a real thing I will tell you what happened to you. You never used to come out and watch anything. But nowadays, every day morning you come and see what's this. And in between I was saying, over that you could see, the fence, for the fence you could see that. And that's the problem, He suffered not because he needed a Mercedes Benz, but only he didn't have, the neighbor has it. That's what it is. He suffered because the neighbor had it. It was not his need. See, that's what we do. We suffer because of that comparison. We compare, compete. Compare and compete. Right? And if you fail in the competition, we suffer. And that's not real achievement. Comparison. You have got your own potential, you must know that. You have got infinite possibilities in yourself. You can achieve anything if you really want to. You can. You can achieve anything. But if you become, that's what, if you become lethargic, lazy, lethargy is not sitting in one place. No. Your mind becomes so dull. It loses its temper. It is tempered all the time. It smells like a very sharp knife. It is tempered all the time. What tempers it? Righteousness, goodness. And goodness doesn't need a lot of effort at all. You can be good anytime. Now see, Bill brought the green fruit, which I like. So it's not any effort, Only he had to carry from the shop to here. He didn't produce it. He didn't grow it in his backyard. He didn't. See, it's so simple. To be good, it's so simple. But if you want to be cunning and cheat, then you have to work for it. You have to make a plan. How can I cheat that person? How can I dupe him? You have to work for it. You have to make a plan. But to be good, no plan. You always be good. You have to be good all the time. It doesn't need any wealth, any money, nothing. You need not be a employee in the Enron Corporation. No. You need not be President of the United States. No. You need not have bombs and throw on some countries. No. It's so simple to be good. So simple to be good. When I was in that ashram, it is a worldwide ashram. She knows. Be good, do good. When she went there, she saw all things. Be good. Everywhere it is written, be good, do good. Every pillar has a be good, do good. So simple it is. It is the motto. Very simple motto. Be good, do good. Nothing. Why we don't do it? That our mind is so conditioned by this economy and so many things, the wants, the cars and airplanes and jets and butts and all those things. We're so cramped with all those things. Our mind becomes so conditioned. So we try to leave those conditions out of ignorance. We try to leave those conditions out. We don't live our life. Really not. We don't live our life. We want to leave those conditions we have created. However, it's the condition of the whole world. I don't say it's here, you or me. It's the condition of the whole world. So we try to leave those conditions and not our life. So we have problems. When you have conditions, see, suppose you want to negotiate with somebody, you put a condition. So everything is conditioned, Without condition, you cannot achieve anything in this world. And if you achieve that, it is another condition you achieve. See, you accumulate conditions and conditions and conditions. So you become a conglomeration of conditions. So where is the rendition of your life? In your conditions. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So some speak of a father who sends rain from the heaven of the north, resting on the seasons and showing himself in 12 ways. Others speak of a sage in the heaven of the south, with a chariot of 7 wheels and 6 spokes. This is a meaning I want to explain to you sometime. It's a very esoteric meaning of these things, But now I'll give you a general idea of what it is, So remember this, 7 wheels and 6 spokes. There's a meaning to it, okay? There are 6 questions, you must know that. These are the spokes. The day and night are the Lord of creation. Again, see, that's what the Veda says. The day and night are the Lord of creation. Day is life and night is matter. See? And life is not matter, it is energy. Okay. See, this is what the problem is. We think that life is a matter, you see. Yeah? So we always try to. These conditions is matter. Condition is matter, not life. Life is matter. Okay. Day is life and night is matter. Because when, even scientifically they have proved that those people who live in this some place where you have less sunlight, that in the winter it's very cold and becomes early sunset, and so they become more depressed. In winter they become more depressed. People become more depressed. I can't understand why people become depressed. He has got the light inside, the fire burning inside. Why become depressed? I don't know. The elation, the spirit, the inspiration that is within. They don't expire, I tell you. So they always inspire, they don't expire. So, okay. So those who join, see, and there is one thing they also take that. If you make love in the daytime, that's not a good thing to do. See, only in the night you have to do it, darkness. And the matter is fully present, not when the energy is fully present. Yeah. So they have got all, it is very, very beautifully they have mentioned, Yeah. Those who join in love by day waste life, but they follow the good path. Those who join in love by night. That's the good path. Okay. And that's the wrong path. It's just like Sex and the City,
Yeah, pretty much.
These are the things, You have heard people make love in the back of the car. The conditioned manner is so low. It becomes so low, so low, so wretched. I can't understand that. Because a powerful mind, this mind can do anything, I tell you. Such a powerful mind you have got. Yet, we do nasty things. And we feel proud of it. Yeah. That's another thing. You feel proud of it. The nasty things, you feel proud of it. Okay. The dark fortnight is indeed matter, and the bright fortnight, that is, the bright fortnight is the full moon and that, and the bright fortnight is life. Like life, bright fortnight. Some sages perform the rituals in the bright fortnight, but some in the is, in truth, the Lord of creation. Food is in truth. The food is, she has become master. Yeah. See, in really it is the Lord of creation. You see, food is the truth, the Lord of creation. From food, seed is produced, and from this, beings are produced from seed. Seed, it's not that vegetable seed. Seed, in every human being there is seed. As there is seed in the divine, the seed is there. See, right? Already have seed. Even science says you got seed. We'll proceed. Okay. Please seed. Okay. So, from food, seed is produced, and from this, beings are born. Because food is life, you must know that. Without food, you can't live. And without food, you can produce. You cannot create. Food is the real cause of creation. Okay. Then you know that Bhagavad Gita, you saying that food is Brahman, food is the sacrifice, and all those things. Yeah. And the beings are born. Those who obey the law of the Lord of creation, they in turn become creators. See, co-creators, that word. The modern, that new age thing, co-creators. It may be true, I don't know. These old days also say that. They in turn become creators and like him produce a pair. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Be good. So, but those they attain the pale regions of the moon. But those in whom there is no deceit, untruth, or bad faith, who live in steadiness, purity, and truth, theirs are the radiant regions of the sun. So it's not many things are not there. The words we use, we use the word love, you see, right? We use the word value. In our life, we use those words, values. We use the word achievement, right? And if they are not governed by truth, purity, righteousness, that's of no use. It will not give you any result. Of course, temporarily you may have some money and all those things, and we enjoy, some more hamburgers and all, then you suffer. If you eat more hamburgers, you become fat. So then you have to go to McDonald's and all through them. But conditions we have, see, we have created this condition. You are sowing McDonald's, your own conditions you are sowing. Your own foolishness and ignorance, right? Which court will give you this kind of decision? No. Yeah. It will be kind of hungry, you see. Hungry. Yeah. So is it enough now? The explanation take a lot of time. You must be prepared for this onslaught. You try to write your own way. According to a modern trend, I talked all this some minutes, some half an hour, more than half an hour. What it is really all life, applicable to modern times, psychologically, spiritually, and religiously, and practically. It's all applicable to modern life. And if you follow certain things, you will transcend all your frailties and shortcomings. Then you need not come here. When you transcend shortcomings, you need not come here. So you can have shortcut.
A shortcut from the shortcomings?
Yeah, shortcut. So, this is a very serious study, I tell you why. The majority of people in the world, the higher echelons we call, who are not just intellectuals, but spiritual people, higher than the intellectuals. Because those people who have embraced intelligence, there's a difference between intellect and intelligence. There's a difference. See, so those people embrace that intelligence as their area of operation or the medium of operation have succeeded in the world at last. Succeeded in the world. I don't think they became billionaires or, they didn't have any corporation, Enron Corporation or something like that. They didn't become presidents or anything, but they become more than that. Today, I was just turned on channel number 5, TVS, okay. Father Harris was speaking. Father Harris, he was a dean. Father Harris, he was a very good person. And he was interviewed by somebody, and he was telling that he was a dean of divinity faculty, in Yale, no, not Yale, in Oxford, this university, and he's also a professor in some teaching, and he's also a priest, okay, and he's a great theologian, kindness and suffering, and he was telling that this war, he said, that the worst thing that could happen is to wage war against any country. He didn't say Saddam Hussein is a good person, no. But war itself is evil. I said this many times. There are ways you could have done, negotiated. It's the same job without killing people, occupying a country. Until the trouble will go, it will go on. Likewise, it will go on. So, he was telling a very ethical question that how, he said it's better to get rid of, I don't have any objection to getting rid of Saddam Hussein for the war itself. There are other means to do it. And he quoted Indian Sama Veda Landa. You see, first you negotiate, then what you do is, last resort is war, last resort. You have to exhaust all the human possible angles and resolve these questions. Because the whole world is involved in that, not just the United States. They wanted to do it alone. That's arrogance. And the results will be very bad. I tell you, the results will be very bad. The economy, what is happening in the economy and all those things. People have no jobs. Whatever it is, this political thing, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about the ethics of our life. In spite of all these parties, and this is kind of, how we started all those things. This actually territorial, they call it integrity. It's territorial ignorance. Okay. It started with the primates, like apes, right? My territory. They will do all sorts of things to have it territorial. They are animals, you must know that. You have got a brain which is higher than any animal, so you are called the cream of creation, and yet you fall into the trap, become territorial. This is mine, this is my country. See, from that came nationalism and country, nationalism and all those things. Although the world is one, there is a variety of the world. There are different kind of people, blacks, yellows, whites, browns, everything is there. And that's the variety, that's the beauty of it, creation. See, the flowers, if you have got only one flower, only roses, it doesn't make any sense. But the varieties are there. Therefore, the creation is a variety, you must know that. So that you can enjoy it every step. If you go to New Mexico, you enjoy it. If you go to Oklahoma, you enjoy it. Even though it's a flat country, you enjoy it. There are different things, different flowers, different, right, landscape. See? So your mind becomes, this is what the enjoyment is. The God created this luster of beauty for your enjoyment. You must know that. So, varieties. You enjoy many animals. Some people like cats, some people like dogs. See? Like so many. Some people even eat lizards. So Churchill's wife went to, he wanted to go to Philippines to see lizards. That's what he objected to. You want to go to Philippines to lizards? Leaving a husband like me? Right, man? So he had this butler, his butler was a very intelligent person. So one day, the butler said, he was very rude to him. Churchill was very rude to him. Then he said, to the butler, you are very rude to me. The butler says, you are rude to me also. Okay. Then he said, I'm a great man. I can be rude, you see. So, this is a very serious study. I keep on finding the clue. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what Big Bang was. Okay. It didn't produce any sound. It's a silent bang.
I mean, is this what they refer to when they refer to that as the beginning of, say, creation?
What happens is the thunderbolt from the sky, hits the earth and the water, and life was born in water because the thunderbolt. It is, what is the intensity of thunderbolt in those days? The direct thunderbolt hitting the ocean and the earth, it was about 18,000 kilowatts of heat, 36,000 kilowatts of heat hitting the earth. And then in that process, the life was born, amoeba, the first creation, amoeba. So life was born in water. In the beginning, life was born in water. So therefore, the God incarnated as fish in water. That's the Indian mythology, fish in water. That is Matsyavatara. Then tortoise. You call it tortoise? Tortoise. We call it tortoise. Why I call it, I don't know, because it's the British pronunciation. Yeah. My English originated from British. Yeah. The origin of your life is the origin of creation. It's not something different. Yeah. Not impotent, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. It is there, I wrote it. Keep on looking for the clue. It is hidden in you. Yeah. Kavi. Hey